What's up, everybody? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you today with another deck profile that has, it's actually an old list, but it's been kind of upgraded from the new Forbidden Light set, and that deck, of course, as you can see, is Espeon Garbodor. We're going to be going through the list. Normally, I would do it with 3 battles. However, I've recorded this already, and the video just didn't go through. So I'm really short on time, and I'm going to have to just do 1 battle this time, so I do apologize for that. But real quick, if you're joining me from Madison, I know that I have a commercial that'll be airing there over the next few days, so if you've seen that and that's why you're joining, welcome. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate that. And if you're in Madison, good luck. Hope you guys have a good time there and pull out some wins. So real quick, guys, we're going to run through this list, and we're going to hop into and onto the ladder, and grab a game and see how it does. So obviously, with it being an Espeon list, we are running a 3-3 Espeon line, of course, with that Energy Evolution EV, cannot forget that. But Espeon really, typically in most Espeon Garb variants, Espeon would be kind of the initial attacker, the main attacker, and then you would have Garbodor come in and kind of clean things up at the end. However, it's a little bit different in this list, and I'll talk about that in a second a little bit more. But for now, just keep that in mind. Espeon is not necessarily the main attacker in this variant. So real quick, obviously being able to attach that Psychic Energy on your first turn is solid. So typically by turn 2, you can be using Psychic. It does 60 plus damage, 30 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this can get extremely good. Definitely a good counter to Buzzwole. All he needs is 1 energy and you have a Choice Band and he's knocked out. Or if he has 2 energy, you're golden. But real quick, before that we have Psybeam. Just 30 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is not confused. This is a great attack to start the game with, especially if you're going second. You'll be able to kind of lock your opponent out from attacking right away. You know, they'll have to Guzma or Switch or Evolve, which not every deck has evolving Pokemon right now. So that's very important to keep in mind. Then, of course, we have Divide GX, put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. This attack right now, more than ever, is actually really solid because one of the big techs in a lot of decks right now is Baby Mew. And actually, Baby Mew might be used against you if you play this deck. So what's great is people now are playing more than 1 Baby Mew. They're typically playing 1, 2, well, I'm sorry, they typically play 1. Now they're playing about 2 or 3, depending on the list. So sometimes you get them both down at the same time, and Divide GX just takes 2 prizes for you, which is really solid without having to do anything else. So something to keep in mind. Great to kind of clean up attacks throughout the game. Moving on from there, I'm going to skip past these 2 and hop down. We have the 4-2-2 Garbodor line. I am playing the Trubbish from Breakpoint because of its attack acid spray. Being able to discard an energy with a coin flip is really solid. Then, of course, Trashalanche Garbodor came out with Guardians Rising. We all know this card very well. Whether it's a good relationship or bad relationship, you know this card. Trashalanche does 20 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. So this can add up extremely fast, especially if your opponent is not paying attention. And then, of course, Acid Spray does 70. Flip a coin of heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So Garbodor, as I mentioned before, is typically kind of a cleanup Pokemon in this list. And not just cleanup, I mean, he takes some huge knockouts. But you're typically not attacking with him early in the game unless your opponent just goes crazy with items, in which case, you know, thank you. And I guess I should talk about this now. In this list, he's able to attack a little bit earlier, simply because we do play 3 of the Noibats from Forbidden Light. And what we're focusing on is destructive sound. For a DCE, your opponent reveals their hand, discard all item cards you find there. So what I've found is, you know, if you start Noibat pretty early in the game, you're able to use this attack. You know, and typically your opponent has a 5 or 6 card hand, discard a few items, you're solid. Yeah, you might have to give up a prize, but you've activated your Garbodor essentially. But more than that, what you know, the fringe benefits of this is not only do their items end up in the discard pile, but they end up there without them getting the advantage of using them. You know, typically they would get to use the item, and then that would cause it to end up in their discard pile. They would at least get the advantage of using the item, but now they do not. And then on top of that, of course, we're running Garbotoxin Garbodor. So if one of those items happens to be a Field Blower, there goes their Field Blower, their chance to get rid of our Garbotoxin, or at least it shrinks up their chance from that point on. So Noibat is actually pretty nasty in this list, especially if you play it at the right times. Like I said, the earlier the better. You know, before they're up and attacking, that's really the best thing to look at. And then something else that's not terrible about Noibat is it has resistance to fighting. So Buzzwole's not going to be having such a great time against him. I know he only has 50 HP, but in order for Buzzwole to one-shot Noibat, he would have to get up to 70 damage with his attack, which of course, that's doable. You know, strong energy, Diancie, but it's not always possible. So something to keep in mind, Noibat's very solid to start with. If you don't start with him early on in the game, you typically won't do it later in the game unless your opponent has like a massive hand at some point and you're like, you know what, we're just going to nail him really hard. That would be a time to do it. But if you don't get him out super early, typically this deck kind of morphs back into Espeon Garb, which is absolutely fine because at that point you should have everything set up appropriately. Moving back to Garbodor, sorry I'm jumping around a little bit, guys. There we go. So we talked about Trash Lance Garb, and then we have talked about Garbotoxin Garbodor as well. We'll be attaching our Float Stones, shutting off abilities, keeping our opponents from playing their Lele's, their Malamars. That's very big right now, and that's why I really like this deck currently. You know, maybe you're seeing this before it's time to turn in your deck list for Madison. Maybe consider it as a last minute option, because this list, you have the two top decks right now, I would say, or two of the top, you know, we'll say top three decks are Buzzwole and Malamar. Whether it's Malamar and Necrozma, which seems to be the heavier opinion, or the heavier or higher light, deck than Ultra Necrozma. However, either way, you have Malamar. So Buzzwole, of course, we're hitting for weakness. Malamar, we shut off its abilities, so there's two decks taken care of, and there happen to be the two biggest ones. So that's why I really like this deck right now. Moving on from there, we have two Tapu Lele GX, which of course we play for the Wonder Tag ability to be able to search for any supporter in our deck and play it. And then I'm going to kind of go through the items real quick. Play one Enhanced Hammer, pretty self-explanatory. We're trying to get rid of special energy. You know, lots of DCE going around, lots of strong energies. If we come across someone playing Ultra Necrozma or Buzzwole, or, you know, name that beast Pokemon, and they play a Beast Energy, Enhanced Hammer is there to take care of that. Then we play just one Field Blower, and we only play the one simply because we're not worried about abilities being locked down. If we need ours open back up, we can use this to open them back up, but we typically won't. This is there to blow off a couple tool cards. You know, obviously we get the advantage of them not having the use of those, but at the same time it adds a little bit of damage for Garbodor. And then of course getting rid of stadiums, particularly Parallel City, because that is the only stadium we run. So if they put down their Parallel City first, we can't do anything about that. So that's where Field Blower comes into play in this list. Then from there, we're not playing any Ultra Ball. And I know it seems weird. I opted to go with just straight 4 Mysterious Treasure because the majority of the Pokemon that we play are Psychic. Espeon, Garbodor, Trubbish, Lele, they're all Psychic. The only two that aren't are Eevee and Noibat. So I have now, since playing this list, kind of toyed with the idea of tossing in a couple Nest Ball just to up the chances of that. But the draw support in this list is so strong that I just typically don't need it. And actually, I've only lost one match with this deck, and it was in a best of 3 against one of my students. So I won 2, he won 1. But other than that, I hadn't lost a single game with this list. So it's consistent enough. It does what it needs to do. So I don't think the lack of Ultra Ball or Nest Ball is causing any problems so far. Then we have one special charge. Obviously, we run DCE. We want to be able to get those back if we need them. Super Rod, same thing, except for basic Pokemon, or basic energy and Pokemon. We talked about the Parallel City. Parallel is amazing right now because you're able, especially in this list, you're able to lock up their bench down to 3 Pokemon. And typically those 3, they're going to have like an attacker and then maybe a support or 2 on their deck, or maybe a tech Pokemon. Parallel City just shrinks up their deck, so they have to pick 3, and then you're able to use Garbotoxin, shut off their abilities, so whatever support they have on their bench is kind of useless at that point. So they're down to a couple attackers who maybe can't do what they need to do because their support is gone, i.e. Malamar and Necrozma. They're going to have to start manually attaching, playing elixirs, doing whatever they can to stay alive. So that's why Parallel combined with Garbotoxin is just insanely good. Then from there, getting into our draw supporters, 3 Cynthia, 3 N, and 4 Sycamore, pretty heavy counts. Oh, and then also a Lily, excuse me. So 11 draw supporters in total, keeps the list very, very consistent. No Bridget in this list like in the past. We've switched to Lily, it speeds it through a little bit quicker, and so far so good. Then for our tool cards, 3 Choice Band just to add that additional damage, 4 Float Stone. We're mostly going to focus on using our Float Stones on our Garbotoxin Garbodors so that we can shut off abilities. And then to close things out, just the 4 DCE and the 6 Psychic Energy. So far, that has worked fairly well for me, hitting my energy when I need them. So now we are going to hop on the ladder real quick, grab a quick game with us, see how it goes. Alright, so it looks like we're going up against a Buzzwole list, which is actually really, really good for us. This should be pretty simple. Should be a simple matchup. Okay, so we lost the coin flip. That's alright. So we get the Trubbish start. We're going to have Float Stone we can put down. We can Mysterious Treasure for something. We can Lily. And we should be able to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards there. We'll be able to Lily for at least 5, depending on what we top deck. If it's something that we can play, then great. If not, then drawing 5 cards is still solid with a Sycamore in our hand for next turn. Okay, so they're actually playing Buzzrock. So that will change things up a little, but shutting down their abilities will be great. Let's take a peek through our deck. So we prize 1 Eevee, good on our Garbodors, good on Noibats, good on Lele. So just the 1 Eevee from our Pokemon. Then from there we have a Guzma in hand. Prize 2 Sycamore. So that's 3 prizes. Choice Band is 4. Prize 1 Float Stone is 5, and 1 Psychic Energy is 6. Alright. So that's our initial search. We're going to Mysterious Treasure. We're going to... I feel like Guzma is going to be very important in this matchup. I think I'm going to grab myself another Trubbish. Get these 2 set up. And as much as I hate to do it, I think I need to Float Stone both of them so I can dig through my deck a little bit more. Alright, and the only energy we hit is a DCE, which is not great for us. Alright, we're going to have to leave it there. This next turn, I think we'll probably just end up Cynthiaing, and we really need to get an Eevee out, or maybe even, well, I'd say Garbodor, but that's not going to do us any good right now. Noibat actually would have been really solid. Alright, so he's starting to stack his bench up. Hopefully we can get a Parallel down before he can do much more. And of course we need to get Garbotoxin online to be able to shut down Diance's ability. Alright, so we get Psychic Energy, that's good. I don't want to shut that down yet. Man. I feel like I need to Cynthia. feel like I need a Cynthia and actually not play any energy because I need to get an Eevee out there or Noibat. So hopefully this isn't the game that having no Nest Ball causes us some problems, but I don't think it will. Oh boy. Alright, well, we're going to use Trubbish then. Alright, we got rid of his energy. That's actually a good thing. We'll see what happens here. If he hits his energy, he won't knock us out unless he also hits a field blower. So that's good news. We can survive another turn. I would love it if he played down... Okay. Actually, I wouldn't love it if he played down a special energy because then he'd be able to knock us out. Alright, so he's getting his bench set up. Again, we have to find our stadiums. This turn, we are going to go for the Sycamore play. There's a Noibat there. That's good news for us. I'm going to hold it where it is in Sycamore. If I find a DCE, then I'm going to use Noibat this turn. I feel like that's the better option. And there it is. We also get Garbodor. So it's just one item. So yeah, so we need to definitely get Noibat up there to do his thing. And we'll attach this here. I'm going to hold the Mysterious Treasure to potentially get another Garbotak or Trash Lanch. Use Destructive Sound, see if we can dump some items. B-String, that's really good. B-String and Super Rod. Awesome. He's got 2 Guzmas, but that's fine. So the great thing about this deck is a lot of times people are watching their items, trying not to play them because if I play them, then, you know, Trash Lanch becomes stronger. But when they do that, it makes Noibat stronger, so he can just come out there and just toss him in the trash anyway. It's not going to matter. So that's a really solid thing about this. He probably doesn't have any items in his hand right now, but I'm still going to put Noibat up because I'm not sure what's going to happen with Trubbish here. We are going to dump in, grab the Garbodor, because we can at least swing for 180 right now. We will Cynthia. And, I mean, he may have gotten an item off the prizes, who knows. Definitely need to get some stuff back in the deck. Need some Trubbishes back. Need energy back too. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna go with those 3. And then I am going to Mysterious Treasure. I'm actually going to get rid of the Noibat because I think we're done with him for now. Alright, so how many we got? 1, 2, 3. That's 60. I know he has a Guzma in his hand, so maybe Inning would have probably been better. That's fine. I'm going to put this here, and we'll use Destructive Sound, see if he picked up anything else. Hopefully he did. If not, we can at least see what he has. So he's got Energy and N and a Guzma. Alright. I doubt he'll play the Guzma, and I highly doubt he'll play the N. There's really no reason for him to do that. It definitely wouldn't be advantageous. About now, I'm wishing I had my my E-Hammer. Alright, so he's going to knock that out, but I'm going to knock his Buzzwole out. 1, 2, 3, that's 60, 90, 180, yep, alright. So we'll be sitting at 4, he'll be sitting at 3. He'll be taking out Noibat pretty soon, which kind of sucks. We're kind of having a rough time with this one, not going to lie. And I think it's probably pretty apparent. So we'll shrink his hand. There's our Eevee, finally. And we'll put the DC on. Hopefully we can hit the Psychic Energy and the Espeon next turn. I really just need the Psychic Energy, and then we're good. There's a Floatstone and Sycamore. We should be able to hit what we need. Buzzwole up there. Buzzwole's gonna knock us out. That's fine. I guess he's gonna do something eventually. Oh, he's using his Brooklet Hill. Right, my bad. Ultra Ball. Now he's probably gonna go nuts with his items because we don't have Trash Lance anymore, or we're not gonna have Trash Lance in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we can get something set up, that'd be great. But you know, we'll just have to see. Lycanroc. Maybe not. Had this hand, okay. Now is he going to use it? That's the question. Nope. So there's really no reason to use it. Definitely the right choice. Sledgehammer for the knockout. So I'm gonna pay the retreat just to get that in there, so I can get it back in, because it's no good on him anymore, really. I mean, it could be, but put this on him. Gotta do it. You gotta go hard on this one. There's Espeon, there's Psychic Energy. Alright, we're good. And we hit the Choice Band too, so that's solid. Put this, we have Parallel City, which is great. I'm gonna hold my Choice Band. He'd honestly probably be smart to get rid of Buzzwole at this point. Yeah, good plan. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna hold the Choice Band so I don't end up losing it. Now, I could knock out Diancie, leave the Buzzwole, hit me for 50, and then take it out. I don't like that. I'd rather just take this out now and hope that he can't. I mean, he won't be able to one-shot me next turn for sure. We may not even have the DCE necessary to use his Lycanroc. I really hope he attaches an energy to Buzzwole, because yeah, now I just need him not to get a Beast Ring. Imagine he runs more than the one. Yeah, he just has one, right? Yep. Max Elixir. He's trying for it. Failed. Oh, that is so good. Okay. We might actually be able to pull this one out. Really, I just need to take down Buzzwole, and then I can use my GX attack and take down Octillery, or no, just Octillery, or Rimraid, whatever. Him putting the Buzzwole down is really helping me. And I don't even have to use my Guzma. I guess he figured get it in range because he's going to have a DCE for him. Dang, where's my N when I need it? That's exactly what he's going to do. Well, I mean, we gotta see what we can do. I don't think there's any way around this. know what? I haven't seen any DCE. Does he run DCE? Or was that just kind of his only option? I don't know what to think at this point. Thank you. I know I do. And you scooped. There we go. Awesome. So there you go, guys. It didn't start so great, I must admit. But, man, it pulled out right at the end there. It did really well. So real quick, let me go to the list and show you one more time. That way you can get a chance to screenshot or whatever you want to do. Excuse me. So here's the list. If you want to take it and have some fun with it, go for it. Noibat can definitely really annoy your opponent and actually kind of help you to be able to win the game. So yeah. So as I said before, if you're joining me from Madison, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like. And if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, which I imagine we'll see a lot of new people this weekend, please be sure to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And of course, if you're in Madison, have fun, be safe traveling, and good luck in your matches. And for everyone else, again, thank you so much for watching. I have been Jordan with the Deck Box, where I want to know what's in your box. Have a great day, guys.